What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York, and on the phone, we got Brent of August Burns Red. Thank you for your time today, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, of course. So, the newest album, Guardians, is absolutely awesome. I was just listening to it. Do you consider this just picking up where you left off after Phantom Anthem, or do you think this is kind of like a new start in the August Burns Red catalog?
I think it's an August Burns Red record for sure. I don't know that it can be most related to Phantom Anthem. Maybe more like a record like Rescue and Restore. It's a really aggressive record overall. You know, he kept it heavy. There's not a ton of interludes and things like that like Phantom had. There's some of them, but not every single song. And that's just something we wanted to try on this record. We've done a lot of interludes for the last few records, so we wanted to just like make some more straightforward songs for this album.
Yeah, was that like a preconceived idea? Because I feel like people who appreciate a song like Defender could appreciate a song like Ties That Bind or Bloodletter, etc. Was it a preconceived idea to kind of make this record the way it was, or did it kind of just happen that way?
We had talked about, toning down the wackiness a little bit, but that's about it. We didn't really sit down with any big major plan. Our songs are pretty difficult to write in general, so as far as having a plan, usually it's just, hey, write whatever music you can write, and we'll go from there, kind of thing. Because, like I said, the songs are difficult to play, and we just want to put out the best possible music we can, so we don't want to put ourselves in a box from the start.
Yeah, fair enough. I was also curious because in between this record and the last one, you also performed Constellations in its entirety. Did maybe like revisiting older material live maybe kind of influence the songwriting process at all?
I would have to say no, and that's just because the vast majority of this record was written before we embarked on the Constellations tour. So what we were writing is what we've been working on for the last 2 years.
hmm In the course of 2 years, does the song like process like change at all? Like, or is this like, or what we're hearing almost kind of like the first initial take or the first arrangement of it?
That's hard to say. The guys write separately. A lot of stuff is just built off of like a single riff, and then songs kind of come together from there. But I think most of the songs are done in their, original thought and original iterations.
As like a fan of August Burns Red, I feel like if you were to play me like a portion of a song, I could almost tell that that's like off of Messengers, that's off of Leveler, that's off of Rescue and Restore, etc. So it's almost fair to say that like maybe you kind of have like a formula that you tend to stick with, or is there kind of like has every project almost been kind of like its own approach and its own experience?
It's definitely been its own approach, especially for this record. This record, there's a big difference in that Dustin, our bass player, who's an excellent guitar player and drummer, he wrote half the record,
hmm
and that's new to us. He's written some songs for us in the past. He wrote like Everlasting Ending, and he wrote Lifeline and Carbon Copy on the last record. But then this record, like I said, he wrote half the album. So that in general makes this writing process different and makes the sound different from the last, from other records.
Yeah. Do you think maybe if like a super fan of August Burns Red were to like really listen carefully and get to know all you guys, they'd be able to listen to a song and know who wrote what in a way? Like, do you guys all kind of have like your own methodology?
I think that a lot of people can definitely tell between a song that's written by JB and a song that's written by Dustin. And as far as lyrics go, usually people can pick out the ones I write versus the ones that Matt writes, depending on the level of fandom, I guess.
Yeah. Is there ever a time where maybe a lyrical concept or a subject matter could determine the outcome of the music, or do you all like need lyrics before a story or lyrics come into play?
So music and lyrics are written completely separately, and then once we pick out the lyrics that we want to use, that's when we combine them with the songs. So, lyrics don't really influence songs too much, and then songs don't generally influence lyrics too much just because they are written separately.
hmm Yeah, I was always wondering because like I feel like your music really captures a moment. That's something I've always admired about August Burns Red. So like, do you find that maybe like the longer you work on a song, sometimes, especially since everything's kind of done separately, it's almost kind of like harder to maintain that moment in a way?
Yeah, it's for a lot of the guys, like they will get like the vast majority of a song down. And for me personally, if I'm writing lyrics, I write everything I possibly can about that moment that just happened. And then if I need to, I'll revisit it later and polish it up. So this of the stuff is an in-moment thing, but then it all, like if Dustin writes a guitar riff and then builds a song about that, he'll have that guitar riff done, and then he has like the tedious process of adding drums to it, adding bass to it, adding violin parts to it, adding whatever piano parts to it that need to be underlying in there. So that's the process. It takes a long time. But as far as capturing a moment in a song, I think that we are fairly good at that, and especially when it comes to lyrics, they are just like 100% in the moment for me personally.
Yeah, definitely. Are you also ever worried that you'll have like the best lyrics ever and then see how they like to go one syllable or over or under like every arrangement on the album?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely change lyrics around a lot. And that's just because you do need to make them fit, and there needs to be a good compromise between how strong of a wording you want and then how strong of a delivery you want. So, like, sometimes you have to take the floweriness out of a lyric to make it fit perfectly into the space that you want to put it in, and that means rearranging the words. So that definitely happens, and we definitely, do that a good amount.
And one more question about the lyrics. Can like the lyrics be open to interpretation, or do you try to like maybe engage the listener to seeing things from your point of views and Jake and everybody else in the band?
That depends on the song. There's definitely some specific songs where I'm just like, yeah, I want everyone to know what I'm saying here. But then I think the majority of it, I'd like to leave up to interpretation, because you want as many people as possible to be able to connect to the words that you're writing. And I think in order for that to happen, you need to kind of leave some things open to interpretation. But there's definitely some songs where I'm like, yep, I want you to get the gist of this. And it just really depends on the emotion behind the song,
Yeah, definitely. I was really curious about one of my favorite songs on the new record was Lighthouse, and I almost feel like that could almost serve as like a literal standpoint or as a external metaphor in a way as well. So
yeah, Lighthouse, is about having that like good Samaritan to kind of like guide your way, and then it's also about how like if you are doing good for others, like you don't want to just like showcase it. Like there's so many people who will go out and like, hey, I'm going to do this awesome charity thing, and I'm going to film this whole thing and make this big video of how I did this awesome charity thing. And it's like, well, was the point of you doing that charity thing to do something good for someone else, or was it to completely glorify yourself?
yeah.
So that, like with Lighthouse, there is a direct meaning there, but there's also, like, I think if you listen to the track and listen to the lyrics, like you can pick a couple different things out of it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like you guys are both very literal and very metaphorical with your lyrics. I feel like you could approach it from any angle.
Yeah, Matt tends to be a little bit more metaphorical than I am. Usually I can be the one that tends to be a bit maybe to the point in my lyrics.
Yeah. Is writing lyrics, I know that the last question was, I meant to say that was the last one, but for this one, is writing lyrics similar creative process as like writing guitars, or is it like a separate mind frame altogether?
It's completely separate. Because we already have, two guys in the band who can write guitar parts, my main job in the band is to write lyrics. That is my job in the band. So as far as writing guitar parts, it's been a minute since I've even attempted to sit down and do that. Usually if I'm going to sit down and write, it's to write lyrics. I try to have, 20 to 30 sets of lyrics that I'm super stoked on that I can present Jake with, so that he then has, a whole host of things that he can pick from to use in the song. So that's my main writing focus at this point, and has been for a while, are the lyrics.
Now, when it comes to writing the rhythm guitar, like, because being that I feel like, especially with this record, I was blown away by the guitar work on here. Like, do you lay down the rhythm before JB writes the soloing over it, or being that you guys write so separately, you just write a bunch of your own stuff and see how they work well together?
Usually, the rhythm stuff comes first. Like I said, the songs are built off of a riff, usually, and then we go into writing leads on top of it from there.
And you ready for the most difficult question of the interview?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you know when a song is done?
That's a hard question. Usually, even when you're done recording it and it's over and done with, there might be something else that you would have done differently. So for an artist, I don't know. It's hard to say that the song is ever done. Usually, you just get to a point where you feel good about it, and that's when you should stop. If you get to a point and you're like, man, I feel pretty good about this, then you should leave it.
Okay.
That would be my opinion on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as if something forever done, that's why I think people do like, hey, check out our reimagined version of this song. That's just because there was something that when it was over, they were like, oh man, I wish we would have done that. So I think for an artist, sometimes songs can never be complete. But yeah, once you can sit down and say, all right, I think this is in a good place, that's when you should just finish it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I feel like you guys have like a bridge between like experimenting with structure, but you do also have like a verse chorus formula as well.
Yeah, more songs than we had in the past, and that was something that we definitely wanted to experiment with a little bit more. Was instead of writing a ton of different parts that link the song together, we wanted to focus on writing a handful of parts and make them flow together as well as possible.
Definitely. And the final question I wanted to ask you is, you guys originated in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I was just curious. I've interviewed a lot of bands from the state of Pennsylvania for many different time periods, but like when you look at bands such as Code Orange, starting from Pittsburgh, and Rivers of Nile, who's been killing it now, and Outer Heaven, who's doing good, was there kind of like a scene that you guys cut your teeth in Pennsylvania, or did you have to kind of go outside your state lines a little bit more in order to get August Burns Red's name out there?
There was a great team when we first started. We had a couple bands from our area that were doing fairly well. There was a band called This Day Forward that's from the Philly area, and a lot of those guys turned into Circa Survive.
Oh, wow.
And then we played some shows with them. They actually played our first show ever. And then we had another band called Boy Wonder that was doing really well, and a band called Blind Influence that was doing well. There's a metal band called Crutch that turned into Alethean, and these bands were all really good metal bands that were kind of driving the scene in Lancaster. And then we hopped in there and we started booking shows, and so JB would book a show with Evergreen Terrace or the Red Chord or All the Remains, and then we would just put ourselves as the opening band on the bill. And that's kind of how we grew ourselves and ended up helping, the scene in Lancaster grow even more.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Jamie Josta would be so proud of you guys for doing it. Because that's how he did it as well. And yeah, you guys have toured with a variety of different bands, I've noticed as well, playing with a band like Born of Osiris, but then also playing with a band like Silverstein, and then, it seems like you could play to almost any type of audience.
Yeah, we tried to leave no stone unturned as far as who we can play for within the realm of aggressive and heavy music, Yeah. And that's kind of been our goal, is to play with as many people as possible and try to pick up as many fans along the way, There can be 1,000 people in a crowd who hate us, but if 100 people there like us and stick with us, then, we looked at that as an opportunity to pick up a few new fans.
Definitely. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. We're calling from the heart of the quarantine zone, which is why, you might be hearing some sirens and people screaming in the background. So sorry about that.
I have not heard any of that. I hope that's not actually happening currently.
You remember Irving Plaza where you guys played a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I live like a 10-minute walk from there, and it's like we're in the epicenter of all of it. But I know that, unfortunately, the tour with Killswitch Engage had to get postponed. But is there just any way that the fans can support you during this difficult time? And can we be expecting you guys to hit the road fairly soon?
We will hit the road as soon as we are allowed to hit the road. That's not up to us,
Mm-hmm.
We have dates rescheduled with Killswitch. We're just waiting for the go-ahead to be able to announce them. Live Nation has, deal with a bunch of government officials and all that stuff to figure out if the rescheduled dates work with the timeline we have. I think any band will tell you that we will play shows as soon as we are allowed to play shows again. But yeah, for now, for August Burns Red, if you want to help the band out, go to augustburnsred.com, pre-order the record, buy some merch online. That always helps. But for us, the main thing is we just want to see people back at concerts when all of this is over. That's how every band makes 90% of their income, and that's what we all hope is that as we know when this all ends, that people will be more excited to come to a concert, go to a sporting event, go to a bar, go to a restaurant than they ever were before.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll be back. We'll get through this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. But Brent, thank you so much. Everybody, Brent of August Burns Red, Guardians, out April 3rd via Fearless Records. Be sure to pick that up and be sure to support their merch. There'll be a link to their merch store in the description below. We'll see you next time on Heavy New York.